Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. So, in today's video I need to go over something to really break this down for the community to understand, okay? So, we've obviously had this issue with rates, with pools and stuff like that, okay? Now, there is currently I don't want to call it a theory, I don't want to call it an agenda, I don't know what I want to call it, right, but people are trying to explain away what is happening. Other creators are basically trying to say that it's a soft pity system and there's no reason that we should be upset because, hey, it's a gacha, soft pity systems exist. They do, and I just need to explain to you exactly what is being said and how it's wrong, and basically what has already happened with Crunchyroll that kind of makes this still an issue, and to be honest, I mean, it's actually a bigger issue, okay? So first of all, what's been said is that, not officially by Crunchyroll, by other creators trying to explain this away, is in other versions of this game we had what is essentially a mileage bar. So the mileage bar would move along the bottom of your screen, and at certain milestones you would trigger certain things, okay? A bit like the Ken banner, you know, you get the Ken banner just now, running up the side, you've got the bar. When you do so many summons, you get part of his EX. When you do 60 summons, you can claim, so by clicking on the picture, you can claim your copy of Ken, okay? And it's very important that you remember that. By clicking on his picture, you can claim a copy of Ken. So while we're now all up on the same rules, the same playing field, so I'm not giving you information that anyone else isn't trying to put out there, two systems we have, the sidebar and allegedly this hidden bottom bar that on other versions of the game is actually visible, okay? The explanation that's being given is what's actually happening on global is we are triggering these invisible drops that would be visible had they added the bar, right? Now, what we've actually now seen is since they've introduced the stealth patch that they dropped, the behaviours on these banners are actually starting to change, okay? I've seen screenshots now of people in divination not actually pulling a character on their first pull. They've got the diamonds, for example. The Ken banner, the behaviour has changed since the stealth patch dropped, where the rate that people are pulling the character has varied from the first day. So what this suggests is it's actually entirely possible, playing devil's advocate here, it's entirely possible that Crunchyroll and A+ didn't realise that this invisible bar, if it existed, had been left in the coding, and they've removed it, right? Which means that they never intended for us to have a better summoning system, right? So if we take what's been said about this soft pity thing, we're all complaining about nothing, and we apply it to the fact that this new patching makes it seem as though that's no longer there, it means that Crunchyroll A+ never left it there as some benevolent thing they were doing. They've taken it out because they know themselves if that was there, they have to show you that that's there, okay? Now, there seems to also be this run on people saying, oh well, you're spreading wrong information, you're talking about wrong rates, blah blah blah, that's just not true. I now need to show you visually, okay, why what people are saying is incorrect, okay? So remember we spoke about the two different bars, the bar that's hidden allegedly along the bottom, and then this top bar that goes up the side, okay? The top bar that goes up the side exists in other games like 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, okay? Where when you hit a certain number of pulls, you can click on a reward on that bar and claim that thing, right? So in 7 Deadly Sins you would click on the picture on the bar and you get a copy of the unit. On the Ken banner, you click Ken, you get a copy of the unit. It's independent of your summon, okay? So that does not affect the rate of your pull because you claim that item out with the pull, okay? Hopefully that makes sense to everyone. So you claiming that Ken off that progress bar does not affect the rate of that pull, right? However, there is another type of progress bar, which is what is described as hidden in this game, where the one that we're talking about that goes along the bottom exists in other games, and it's basically what it says is when you get to this pull, so say pull 10, this will be triggered within your summon, okay? So you don't claim it after the fact, it will actually script it to put it into your summon, okay? Now, that does exist in other games, and I recently played a game for years that had this, okay? Now, I don't play the global version anymore, so the screenshots I'm going to show you are Japanese, okay? But I will explain exactly what they are so that you can be quite clear on these, okay? So I'm going to bring up two images right now, and they're from Disgaea RPG, okay? Now, this is from Disgaea RPG's Platinum banner, okay? And how Disgaea RPG's Platinum banner works is, when you do 5 summons, on your 5th summon, you're guaranteed to get a 4-star unit, okay? And the new featured unit has a rate up, okay? When you hit 10, it's got a higher rate up. When you hit 15, it's got a higher rate up. And when you hit 20, you're guaranteed to get that unit within your pool, okay? Now, for systems like that, this is how rates have to be. So if you look at the image on the left, okay, you'll notice that I'm highlighting the same tab, okay? The tab at the top, underneath the blue one, what that says, but in Japanese, is guaranteed rate, right? And on the one on the other side, it says guaranteed rate, right? So, if you can see here, the new unit on this banner is the pink-haired girl, Artina, and she's a 1.2% rate to pull on normal pulls, okay? So that would be pulls numbered between 1 and 4, okay? On pull number 5, where you have a rate up, where there is something in place, which would be your mileage counter, that is affecting your pull, you have a higher chance of getting her, and they have to advertise what the rates are for you to receive that unit on that pull, okay? So you can see here, it's 20%. On the next one, where it gets higher, it might be 40%. On the one after that, when it gets higher again, it might be 60%. And then on the final one, it says, literally, on the screenshot, none of those other characters are there. There's just a picture of that unit, and it says 100%. Now, I can't show you that because I've not gone to summon, I've not gone up to summon 20 or whatever. Because it doesn't like show you ahead, it doesn't show you what summon 20 is going to look like when you're already only on summon 1, because it's not trying to bait you into going that far. But what it does is it accurately displays what the rates actually are, okay? Now, if there was more banners running in the game, I would be able to show you more examples. Like, for example, there is systems where on summon number 5 you're always guaranteed to get a unit, and it will be rate up on X. You can see it, you can go into the rates and you can actually see what that unit is, okay? However, there's also systems in the game where after 30 summons you have enough tickets to claim pity, which means on the 30th summon you don't see anything that says you're guaranteed to get the unit, because you're not, the rates are not floated in your favour. You're doing something out with the summon, so they don't have to advertise to you what chance you've actually got of picking up the featured unit, because it's independent of your actual pool. This is what the problem is with the Street Fighter Duel summoning system, and this is what I don't understand, why people are trying to explain it away. Now, again, I've already said, if Crunchyroll have applied these stealth patches, okay, it may well be that it was not their intention to have this system in there. They may not have realised that there was leftover code from the Chinese version or whatever that was going to have scripted pulls, or whatever you want to call it, soft pity, on this progress bar, okay? So they may not have known that, and they may have now taken that out. So there's a difference between malice and incompetence. However, the end result is still the same. Players have been affected with incorrect information, wrong rates, and this is the more important thing, false interpretation of what a banner is like. Okay, so if we, for example, go and look at the one that's, I suppose, the biggest one, the divination pool, okay? Now, the divination pool by design, until whatever they've done, was going to give you the unit you selected on your first multi. A few multis later, you'd get another copy, and by the time you got to summon number 12, you would have a double pull. It was happening for everyone, right? But the thing is, people weren't really discussing it in great detail, so people thought that the divination pool was almost like a cheat code, right? They thought that, oh man, look at this, if I go in here and I summon, I've got a good shot at getting 2 characters and blah blah blah. People thought that was a thing, right? So there was people like Mark, who's another YouTuber, who done quite well originally off of the divination pool. He then went to spend a fortune on tickets and he got absolutely rammed. Now, that would be fine if it was normal RNG. No one has an issue with that type of thing, okay? But the fact is, if you have set your stall up in such a way that makes it seem that something is better than it actually is, then you've essentially pulled a fast one on consumers. People are going into something with a false impression of what it's actually like. Now again, I'm not saying they've done that deliberately, but that does not change the end result that it happened. That does not change the end result that during that time, the displayed odds were incorrect. People were not getting what they were paying for. People are going to come back and say, where you are arguing about people getting things. That's not what's being discussed. What's being discussed is you have to have trust, faith in what you're doing within these games. You have to have trust that when you click something and look to see what kind of outcome you're going to get, what kind of odds that you're going to get on something, you have to be able to believe that that information is correct. And when they are scripting things behind the scenes that actually affect your chances, what they do is they change those automatically. Those change. And if you're not being given the correct information, if you're not seeing what is actually happening within your pool, it's not legal. You cannot do it. Again, I don't really know why someone wants to take the stance that we are blowing this out of proportion. It's a soft pity system. Why are you guys worried about it? That is not what it's about. It is about doing what you're supposed to do, running the game how you're supposed to run the game, and conforming to things by a legal standpoint. The fact is, from what we can observe now with other people's pools since they applied that stealth patch, behaviours have changed. Which means they are, without saying it, they're admitting that they had this set up wrong. Up until about, what, 3 days ago? I think that's when they pushed it out, I'm not sure. 2 or 3 days ago. This is a big deal. I mean, I like this game. I am going to continue to make normal content on this game. In this video, I am not attempting to bash Crunchyroll. In fact, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and I'll say, perhaps they didn't realise. It's possible. It's 100% possible. But an accident that has negative ramifications, that doesn't follow the law, is still rule breaking. That's it, plain and simple. It doesn't matter if you do it on purpose, it doesn't matter if it's an accident, the end result is still the same. And it basically means that we as customers do not know if everything we've done up to this point can be trusted. That is it, plain and simple. There's no way you can spin this. There is no way that you can spin this to make this seem like it's a positive, we are getting soft pity. That is besides the point. That is not what this is about. This is about doing what you're supposed to do, showing people what they're supposed to say, and having odds displayed that are correct. Because again, literally, if you start summoning on something and you are, how do I say, front loaded, and the thing looks better than it is, if you could see a bar and you could see that your pools were actually garbage, the only things that you were getting was the guaranteed spots, that would affect you. Once those guarantees had passed, that would affect whether or not you were going to continue summoning. If you didn't see that, you would literally think you were going from a hot streak to a dry streak, so maybe I'm not that far away again from another hot streak. That is literally what's happened, that is what's happening, and this is why doing things like they've been done is incorrect, and it shouldn't stand, and it shouldn't be something that's just swept under the carpet with people trying to cover it up. Now, I'm not looking to get into a flame war with other YouTubers. If you know who is doing this, who is trying to spin this, leave them be. It's up to them. You guys need to look at things through a clear glass, whatever I mean, and just through fresh optics, you have to look at things based on evidence, right? You have to look at things on a factual basis, not an emotional basis, not, oh my god, I like this game, I don't want someone to say anything bad about it, or oh my god, I make good ad revenue off this game on YouTube, so I don't want anyone to kind of bump down the positivity around it. Guys, this is bigger than me being a YouTuber trying to make some revenue, some other YouTubers trying to make some revenue. This is about you guys getting a fair shake at the stick, making sure you have got a chance to do things in this game that you can believe in, that you don't think you're being scammed, and they're doing it wrong, they've done it wrong, and the facts are, it really does look like they're just going to try and say nothing about it, move on from it, and hope that, you know what, it doesn't come back to bite them in the backside. The worst part about this, and I wasn't actually aware of this, is this isn't the first time this has happened with Crunchyroll. They actually got sued for it as far as I know, with regards to My Hero Academia. Pretty much the same thing, wrong odds, scripting, something, I don't know the full details, because like it's not a game that I play, but there is previous to this, and again, it might not be malicious, it might not be deliberate, but it doesn't change the facts. It's plain and simply, it's wrong, we're being given the wrong information. If for some reason, I do not understand why, people are trying to cover it up. Make of that what you will, you can draw your own conclusions. I'm not here to push thoughts into your mind, I'm just here to present the facts. It's wrong, shouldn't be allowed, they need to sort it out, and they need to really do something about everyone who's played the game with these hidden systems in place and not knowing anything about it. Anyway guys, I am 100% going back to making standard content. I'm done in with all this, to be honest. I keep getting just more and more stuff directed towards me, whether it's positive, negative. Appreciate the positive, don't really appreciate the negative as much. But all I've tried to do from the start is help you guys, and I'll continue to do that. When covering this game, I am going to cover modes and how to beat things and stuff like that again. But I am not ever going to shill for this company, or any company in fact. If something is bad, if there's something wrong, I'll continue to call it out and point it out to you guys. But hey, I'm with Apple, you can't get any refunds or anything like that, so it's not as if I can quit. So I'm going to continue playing the game, I'm going to continue putting out content, and if you are going to keep playing, if you do subscribe to this channel, I'll continue to provide you with nothing but honesty and truth. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.